Luke 1:6. Hold that. We're supposed to live righteously by applying the laws. Are you going to get it right your first time?
No.
You got the grace of God. Doesn't mean abuse it. That does not mean abuse it, sis. You understand? So knowing it's today, knowing I ain't got work today. You got your kid, bring your kid. Right? You may not have a dress. Show up. We can put a covering on you. We got sisters with dresses. They're going to shalom you. They're going to give you a hug. They're going to embrace you. They're going to show you the love of God the way it's supposed to be shown. How to get our minds right. You know what I'm saying? Then throughout the week, you're going to talk to one of the sisters, myself, and we're going to build you up. What's going on in your life? And little by little, sis, week after month, you're going to see yourself change. Because why? You're learning by applying the commandments. It does get rid of the sin in your life. Over time. I no more. I had to drop it. Other things are hard. Lust, watching pornography, cheating, having multiple sexual partners. Those things you have to learn how to get rid of them and overcome them. But it only comes through experiences of others and how the trials and how God's going to increase you. Look what you got. Is that godly for our people to kill one another? No! Our young men have to be taught how to deny the emotions, the feelings of wanting to kill one another. Oh, well, he said something wrong to me. Oh, well, he cussed my cousin out, da-da-da.
I think it said it was physically. And then before that, and then it talks about how, what's it say? How they cut our lifespan off. Living in sin cut our lifespan off. So, yeah. So I've been reading a lot. So, yeah, what you said.
Okay, the purpose of what you must do in the last days, the conclusion of the whole
I haven't finished the whole book yet,
okay.
But right now the book just describes where the black man came from as an atom, A-T-O-M.
Okay.
I forgot the acronym for him though, but it talks about him and where we came from the black life. Exactly.
So does that make it true?
I don't know. That's why I'm over here standing talking to y'all.
So the Sabbath day is what day of the week? Saturday.
All right, from the review now. Are you ready to take on a woman to be your wife? Yes, sir. Have you ever caught this sister yet? Two transportation. He got a plane and a car. This ain't the man for you. All right, is that right? I need some more sisters. Single sisters. If he can't come home and hear sweet words, this ain't the man for you. All right, is that right? Officer of 50 from headquarters put in tons of bricks looking for a nice, lovely lady to make his bed a little softer at night. What are you looking for in a woman to sustain you and to keep you going in this truth? That's a good question. There's two kinds of work. Making babies and making money. Alright, is that right? There's two kinds of work. Making babies and making money. Alright, is that right? There's two kinds of work. Making babies and making money. Alright, is that right? I need some more sisters. Single sisters. Ready to take on a husband. So you are interested in looking for a spouse or a woman. What is the one attribute that you are looking for in a potential role?
I'm very telling people in there that you can put your hands on them and beat on them because of who you are.
I need some more sisters. Single sisters.
I can tell you from previous experiences, I think a year is enough. A year is enough because what's going to end up happening, if you don't get away from them, they're going to end up pulling you out. And I've seen this movie, this story over and over and over again. And then then they'll be saying crazy stuff to you for why they not here no more.
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh, and double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone. Shalom to the other elders. Shalom to you. Honors to you. Shalom to you, brethren. Honors to you, brethren. You supporters of the truth, shalom to you. Shalom to the few sisters, sincere ones. Shalom to the elect. So anyway, I want to touch on this video real quick before I get started. Elder Apostle Kabar years back said a lot of times when these women come up, it's because they find some attraction to the men that they come up, and approach. And this has always happened, even in the time of slavery, they would set up these preachers, and it would take these women, and women are always led by the voices of men. That's why you see this Pastor Mitchell, Alan Mitchell, or Philip Mitchell, T.D. Jakes, Creflo Dollar, Joe Osteen, the list goes on. Women are attracted to men in speech and power. So this woman, she just wanted to shoot the shot with the Jake. Now, this Jake might have a wife, and he can't marry her. According to Nate's doctrine, you're only supposed to have one wife in captivity. Out of captivity, you can have all the wives you want. So I just wanted to touch on that. We had a couple of women come up to the camp, and we would ask them certain things, and I literally said, y'all just see men with strength. That's why y'all here. And the women literally said, yeah, of course. So they're looking for the next great message. That's pretty much it. So anyway, a lot of things, the IUIC is so deceptive because a lot of these things they say some of it is true. I mean, what man wouldn't want a comfort of a woman in his bed at night? I'm saying in the manner of the way they're saying it. A good, wholesome relationship, one man to one woman, and, that kind of relationship, monogamous. And these women, they fall for it. I had a woman get on my channel and say, that's why I like the IUIC, because you can only have, a man can only have one wife. So that's feminist right there. So you got feminists up in that group. So anyway, let's get to 2 Timothy 3:6. I just wanted, in this short video, I just wanted to rant on about that. That woman just came up because she saw what she see to be attractive Jake pushing out a powerful message, getting her loins, getting her juices flowing. Let me say that. 2 Timothy 3:6 says, for this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women, laden with sins and led away with diverse lusts. You know what I'm saying? And this man claims to be a prophet, the prophet Bishop Nathaniel, general, or whatever new name he got now. So I want to go over here, right here to the cross references, because it's, the way the video, the way some of them are, they word it differently. But it's, I'll get to the point. 2 Peter, let me go here. Take captive silly women. Let's go to, it's quite a few in here I wanted to get, but I'll just get one or so. 2 Peter, yeah, this is one of the precepts. But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you. Now, I also want to go in some etymology, some AI. I like to do that now and kind of go into that because they literally said the Sabbath is Saturday. And it can be Saturday. But they believe since the one they call Jesus, that's another issue right there. They teach you must call on Jesus the Christ because it says it in the book. Although his name is dreadful amongst the heathen, so he don't want everybody to be calling on his name in righteousness, right? Well, and as far as heathens or other Israelites, he don't care about that. So he only cares about the elect. So I took the time and I looked up something. He said it was only on Saturday. Now, how did you know the first day of the week if you don't know the seventh day of the week? But they got all kinds of excuses. So they said since Yahushua was on the scene and the Julian calendar existed, again, that's another one of those captivities that he must follow because he's in captivity. So now the Messiah, sent by the Heavenly Father, is now going to subscribe to the Julian calendar, is what these guys are saying. So they must subscribe to the Julian calendar. It seems like they indoctrinate captivity an awful lot. You can only have one wife in captivity. The Messiah can only follow the Julian calendar in captivity. I mean, this is what they say. But let's see what AI said, which I know this through reading. You can go to all kind of commentaries. It says in, where am I at? I think I erased it. Yeah, I think I erased it. Let me pull it back up. Actually, no. It should be here. No, it's not there. Not there. Yeah, I don't know where it is now. Let me go back here. This is another AI I like to use. It says, let me go up. It says Jesus would have used the Hebrew lunar calendar for the observing the holy days despite the existence of the Julian calendar. Here's why. The Hebrew calendar at the time of the Messiah was lunar solar calendar. The first day of the new month, right, was the day when the first sliver of the new crescent month became visible. But they teach the new moon is the full moon. So they just bring up all kind of confusion, right? The observer of the Yahushua followed the traditional Jewish religious calendar system that had been established for centuries. The evidence shows that Yahushua's execution, crucifixion, occurred in conjunction with the annual Jewish festival, the Passover. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. And that would have been according to the calendar cycles. You know, you count your days to get your months. The word month simply, when you look at the word, let me see, like when a woman come on her monthly cycle, the word month just means moon, right? Which was calculated according to the Hebrew lunar calendar, not the Julian calendar, right? So, no, the Sabbath is not on a Saturday. See, these guys are the children of Antiochus. You know, the ones that force us to sell out is these guys. They're Matthew 23. Those wicked Pharisees, right? Let's go back to 2 Peter 2. There were false people, even as there was false teachers among you, who privately or privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that brought them, and bring them to themselves swift destruction. And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason, right? By reason of whom the way of the truth shall be evil spoken of. These people are calling on Jesus the Christ. This is working. This is hustling backwards. This is working backwards. And through covetousness shall they be fiend words to make merchandise of you, whose judgment now, who is long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not. So this group, and I'll call it straight, this group, the Genesis group, and I would say some of ISBK, they kind of stay in the back, but mainly this group, the Sakari, the Genesis, they all call us rapists. And this is all designed, geared to the woman, right? This is what that's for. You know, women bring in a lot, in a lot of cases financially. I personally don't know, but I'm sure there's women that follow us that do great support. In fact, I know some that really do support the ministry. So that's what the fight is for the hustle. And we don't do that. You know, I mean, we have to trust in the Lord. If the Lord is going to use women to help us, like we would never just strictly go out and slander another camp, right? This is why I put the proof there. I would never slander them in the sake of women. Now, we'll tell the brothers and the sisters to watch out for these type of cannibals. You know what I'm saying? They'll just eat the doctrine, man, and destroy it. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, Romans 16:18, the NIV, it says, for such people are not serving our Lord, Yahushua, but their own appetites by smooth talk and flattery. They deceive the minds of the naive people, right? That's these guys. Look, we'll take you in, sister. We'll hook you up with the dress. And so they don't even know this woman. Can somebody say a cult, or in modern term cult? Let's look up the modern term cult. I have I took the joy and the liberty to look it up. All right. The modern context for the word cult typically refers to the group or movement characterized by excessive devotion. And this is what people do. They'll see this group in an occultic cult mindset, and then they'll just title it Black Hebrew Israelites. Right? It says excessive devotion to a person, idea, or object, often involving manipulation and controlled practices. See, that's the manipulation. Come on in, sister. We'll hook you up. We'll give you a long dress. Some of these women ain't even ready for none of that, man. This is what Paul was talking about. Some people aren't ready to grow a beard right away. These people, this group teaches, if you come up to listen, you got to put a hat on your head. This is what they teach. You got to, if you got a hat, throw the hat on. And they're not even in the congregation. Right? Didn't Paul say, I court thee with guile? Right? This is why he said that, and they boast all in the law, man. This proves that the law is not going to save you. You got people in garments that are still wicked. Then there's people that's not wearing garments who's probably the elect, who will eventually wake up and see the truth. So you got to be careful with that. This is what the Pharisees always did. They forced everything about the law, because the law, you had more usury. When it came to the law, there was more usury involved. You know, through fear, using the law, you can get people to do whatever the hell you want to do. Now, you should fear the Lord, right? And you fear the law too. I mean, it's all about the law as well. But they're boasting in the law. They're making it all about the law instead of the faith in the Messiah. He's the one that's going to save you, not the law, not your fringes. I did videos on the fringes, how the Egyptians and everybody else had forms of clothes and fringes. And that's why the Lord said, put a border of blue on yours so you remember. The remembrance was the issue, because we was mingling and mixing with other nations and following after their practices. If you now the fringes are sewn in your heart, your spirit. We still wear them, you know, but it's not tell all be all that. Well, if you don't wear the fringes, you won't be saved. That's following God's commandments. Anyway, let me go up here. Verse 3 and 20. Therefore, by the deeds of the law, there shall no flesh be justified. Why is he saying that? Just because you wear fringes don't mean your ass going to be saved. Just because you followed the Sabbath day don't mean you're going to be saved. Because at the end of the day, there's a whole lot of people that wore fringes and followed the Sabbath day and not in the truth anymore. Right? Men and women. No longer in the truth. In fact, some women, sisters left and married white men. And they wore their fringes. It says, there shall be no flesh shall be justified by the deeds of the law in his sight. For by the law is the knowledge of sin. Right, because they was using the law, just like Bishop Nathaniel and the IUIC doing. These are the same Matthew 23 characters back. They're doing the same thing. Look, sister, you come in, we'll hook you up with a long garment. Oh, by the way, you got to marry one of us, because if you do have a husband, 6 months or a year, you got to cut him off and marry one of your own in here. Now, if that ain't occultic or cult, whatever you want to call it, I don't know what is. And any sister who follows something like that, then you've been warned. You know, Ezekiel 3:17 said, give them warning, watch. Because contrary to what people may say, you sisters, your job is basically to, is the truth, maybe to teach your sons, your family, whatever, but ultimately to be with a husband. And the Lord is going to keep the woman that's trying to be, you know, trying to be righteous, right? Because really, at the end of the day, women ain't really righteous. They all kind of got some wickedness. But the Lord will lift it up just enough for them to be with a man of the Lord. Right? So that's your job as a woman. So were they saying anything really wrong when he said babies and cooking? Well, as long as the man is taking care of his part. I'm saying in this society. See, they speak according to this Western culture. That's why they're so deceptive, because they connect a little Christianity with Hebrew Israelism, as vocab calls it. Right? Anyway. But now the righteousness of God without the law is manifested, being witnessed by the law and the prophets. This does not mean you do not follow the law. That is not what that means. The scriptures, as they'll even read, if you love me, keep my commandments. Keep the commandments, the Lord's commandments. Yes, but the commandments is not technically going to save you. The first commandment will save you. And that's what it's all about. If your brother's down, your brother's hurt, he needs help, it's the Sabbath day, what do? Can you truly follow the Sabbath? No, I don't think so. No fire, no cooking. Wintertime, furnace coming on. Yeah, something's happening. You might say, I want to use the microwave. But, the furnace coming on, the heat coming on, you're striking a fire. If you drive your car, you're striking a fire. So it's inevitable to not be able to keep it fully, because you can. Even the righteousness of God, which is by faith of Yahushua unto all upon them that believe. So the Lord didn't never come here just to say and die and say, well, now you don't have to keep no laws. You die after he dies. I didn't gave it all up now. This is what Christians teach. I didn't gave it up now. Now you ain't gotta worry about laws anymore, because I took them all on. So in other words, he died, went to the spirit world with his Father, just to allow us to be in sin and continue in sin and be okay with it, because he covered it all. So if I commit adultery, nope, you know what? Jesus has covered it. Like I said, that Jesus they work out must be anemic. That Jesus they follow must be anemic, because all his blood is about gone by now. There's no more, when you read Hebrews 10, it talks about no more sacrifice once you willfully sin. Do we then make void the law through faith? God forbid. Yea, we establish the law. That was the point. So anyway, I just wanted to go into that how these IUIC characters, they'll do anything to court the woman, and then they already set it up. We'll bring you in his mind, he looking, yeah, it's either for me or I got another brother lined up for it. Work right with her. Yeah. Jake has always done stuff like that, man. And we supposed to wake up from that wickedness. You know what I'm saying? Especially now, because back then you had families involved. You had arranged marriages. But somehow Nate is his own God, and he tells you you can only marry one wife because you can't afford to take care of 2 or 3, which I don't know how that is. Well, maybe you can if you give most of your money to him. They believe it's not against the law to have more than one wife, but they believe it's against the law to have more than one wife in captivity. Somebody got to help me make that make sense. I can. That's all I have on that. Shalom.